Hi everyone, thank you for attending our session on automated estate monitoring, where you can find out how you can elevate your software management. My name is Teodor Olteanu. I'm a senior engineering manager at Flutter UKI, and I'm joined for this session by Stefan. And I will kick off the presentation, and then Stefan will cover off some of the technical aspects of our initiative. First, a quick look at the agenda for today. I'm going to give you a quick company overview so you know who we are and what we do. Then I'm going to cover the reasons why we wanted to tackle license optimization and talk a bit about our journey so far. Then Stefan will pick up and cover our implementation process and some of the challenges and learnings that we've been going through along our journey. And then I'm gonna come back and talk about some of the improvements that we want to make to the process and some of the conclusions. Flutter is the world's leading online sports betting and gaming operator. We have more than 32 million active players worldwide. And we have a great portfolio of world-class brands, and you might know some like Paddy Power. You probably have seen our betting shops in UK and Ireland, Poker Stars, or FanDuel in the US. And the picture that you see on the screen right now, this was taken earlier this year when Flutter changed its stock listing from Dublin to New York. And that was a big deal for us because we're market leaders in the US with our brand FanDuel, and we're really committed to grow in that market. And in Flutter Group, we have 4 divisions. We have our international division, US with FanDuel, Australia with Sportsbet, and the Flutter UKI division, which is the one Stefan and I work in. And in the UK and Ireland, we're offering sports betting and gaming products through our 4 brands: Sky Betting and Gaming, Paddy Power, Betfair, and Tombola. In workplace technology, we support around 7,000 employees spread across 6 offices and 5 countries. And like Tom was mentioning in the intro, our environment is quite a fast-paced environment. We need to always kind of respond to market changes and the competition, and that kind of makes us unique in that way. Now let's get into why we wanted to tackle license automation and a bit about our journey, so you have a bit of context around what we've been doing with Nextthing so far. So we've been Nextthing customers for a long time, since 2015. And the product and our business have been evolving throughout all of this time. We've been going through mergers and acquisitions, and as you know, the Nextthing product has been evolving a lot as well lately. And we've been using Nextthing in many scenarios, from managing company mergers to project delivery, measuring DAX, and even during the COVID pandemic, we had a couple of use cases of managing the transition for everyone working from home. And we wanted to look at automating license management because before we were using a reactive license management model. So we had another product that was deployed on our endpoints. So it had an agent. It was reporting back inventory around the applications installed on our devices. And then we were comparing that data with our license entitlement to make sure that we're not under or over licensed. And that wasn't really working for us because the remediation process was quite manual. And we were struggling to get that work into our sprints and get it done. So we were getting half of the work done, but we weren't kind of completing the work. So we started this initiative with a couple of goals in mind. First, obviously, cost efficiency, right? We wanted a process for identifying and removing unused software licenses so that we can reduce the cost associated with purchasing and maintaining unnecessary licenses. So we're now saving a considerable amount per year, and Stefan will go into that in a minute. So stay tuned to that. And also, like I mentioned earlier, we were using another product, right, to do software asset management. And since NextThing has now software metering capabilities, we decided to stop using the other product and consolidate all of our software monitoring into NextThing. And that has achieved further savings for us. The second goal was enhanced productivity, right, by freeing up unused licenses and reallocating them to the users that need those licenses. We're reducing the time that a user needs to wait to get a new license because we don't have to go through a procurement process to buy new licenses. So that's improving the whole user experience. The third was obviously operational efficiency, because the process that we had before was quite manual. Our teams had to go in and kind of do part of the process manually. By having a fully automated process, we're saving time from IT so that our teams can focus on more important tasks. The last goal was resource optimization, right? We all know that we have a lot of apps that we have running on our endpoints at any time. I think we were deploying about 14 apps during the machine build on our endpoints. So obviously by getting rid of one of the apps that we installed during the machine build, we optimize kind of the resources and the time that we were taking during the machine build. And even though it might not seem like a big change going from 14 apps installed to 13, that can save up to a lot of compounded time, right? And then you have to think about the one less app running on the machine, which also saves time. And also the fact that we in IT don't have to manage a separate application. And we're going to get into the implementation phase, and I'm going to switch over to Stefan that will talk you through our implementation journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Theo. Hello, everyone. My name is Stefan Igra, and I work as an enterprise system engineer here at Flutter UKI. When we first began the process of gathering the data on all our pay licenses across our organization, our challenge was clear. We needed a way to identify exactly who was using what without interrupting the workflows. So for that, we started a strategy by building 4 pilots: identify, improve, innovate, and manage. With the first phase of identification, we start by mapping every software license to track the usage in the real time, providing visibility instantly into the allocation of the resources. By doing that, we could audit how the licenses were allocated at the individual level. Once we identified exactly what we want, we start looking next how we can improve that. So we start by utilizing the NextThing software optimization cost dashboard, which is a pre-built from NextThing library, and we use it as a foundation. It offered for us a valuable baseline functionality, and from there we saw an opportunity to build even further. Using this as a reference, then we extended its capabilities by integrating also 2 other modules, application modules and the software metering one, into one single dashboard. As you can see in here, this dashboard has been created among our organization, and it follows the structure with the pre-build that I mentioned earlier. And you can easily track the usage app for different kind of vendors or categories. In this case, for example, we'll be using Microsoft. And as you can see, it has all the suites from the products we currently use. And you can see how many devices are having the product installed, how many are not, what should be the potential cost savings for that. To achieve this type of data, we start relying on NQL, and we did everything with NQL queries to determine exactly the desired results. The data retrieved in these dashboards are from the last 90 days, and these are the products in the scope. You can always combine the metric in such ways that suit you best to achieve. After we improved, we start thinking, hey, how we can innovate this? We start focusing on transforming the process, and we begin by capturing detailed usage metrics for each application in our organization, specifically tracking the number of users and their activity. We start identifying two sets of distinct users who engage with the software less than 4 hours in 30 days, and users who are using it more extensively. With this data, we start by taking a proactive approach, and we start targeting with campaigns for users that were using the product less than 4 hours in 30 days, asking if they still need it or we can uninstall it. If we got positive results by uninstalling the product, then we start executing the remote action and we just uninstall the product. This automated data-driven strategy not only optimized the license allocation, but also reduced the unnecessary overhead. In the right side, you can see some campaign results for Visual Studio in this case. As you can see, we have 66 campaign answers with 20 users who are saying, yes, remove my license. We've been targeting them, and we actually reclaim it back from this process. And here you can actually see in real time some remote action results. It runs successfully on 17 out of those situations. An overview about the software license process and how it was designed in our case to ensure the optimal license management by following this structure. We start with targeting some stakeholders. After that, we continue by deploying the dashboards. We then defined the workflow, hit with the campaign, did the automation process for them, and then we were heavily careful to capture the results accurately. This results was measuring the impact and refine our strategy to move further. In the last phase, we start by focusing on tracking the outcomes for our process. Through monitoring and automation, we successfully reclaimed a significant number of licenses, optimizing by this the resource allocation across our entire organization. As you can see in the next slide, these are some estimated cost savings for different types of products in the last 6 months since we went live with the process. And by maintaining this proactive approach, we ensure that ongoing efficiency and maximize the value for our software investments. This proactive management not only reduced our overall software, but also helped us to lead to new strategic initiatives. I'll move forward with some challenges and learnings we had during the process. One of the most important challenges, as you can see in here, we had two: the user engagement and the ongoing training and the support. For the first part, we needed to make sure that our users understand exactly the value of our commitment and our initiatives efficiently. We recognize this need for also the ongoing training and support because we were putting a lot of effort into building through the NQL queries, so we had to be up to speed with everything we needed when we start doing the process. And we found out that the software utilization was crucial for maximizing the success for our reclamation efforts, of course. What we learned among this process, the importance of data-driven decision-making as capturing usage metrics accurate, it's allowing you to significantly improve the license management. Ultimately, we discovered that continuous improvement is the key. By regularly reviewing our process and the outcomes, we can adapt to evolving needs and we can ensure that our strategies remain effective and relevant. I hope you find this interesting, and Theo, I'll get back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Stefan, for walking us through the implementation plan. As you've seen, we put a lot of work into the whole process, and we've done all of this without flow, right? So we currently don't own that SKU from Nextthing. So we did all of the automation with NQL queries and kind of custom scripts. But there are still a couple of things that we have to implement. So we have the whole process automated so far, but we're missing this final step, which is to automatically remove the license. So we're uninstalling the app when the user says that they don't no longer use the application, but we don't remove the license automatically. And this is something that we want to continue to work on. So we have a script that will remove the user from a group, which in turn will remove the license. And that will make the whole process end-to-end to run automatically. The second improvement that we want to work on is just to send some automatic email reports. Because in IT, we often do a lot of great work, but we don't talk to anyone about it, right? We don't advertise it. And we want to have some reports that would go out to our senior management just to present kind of the savings that were achieved through this process. And that would increase the visibility on our work. And like Stefan was mentioning earlier, we want to improve the engagement with the users, and this is more around awareness. We've seen that there was a reluctancy from some of the users to interact with the campaigns that we were sending out. So we tried to kind of have the message formulated in a way so they understand they can anytime kind of get back the license if they need it. But I think there's a bit more that we can do here to make sure that they engage with our campaigns. And just to wrap up the presentation, I want to touch on a couple of key points that we presented. First, if you want to implement this process yourselves, you will achieve enhanced efficiency and cost savings, right? The cost savings kind of speak for themselves. Because by automatically retrieving licenses which are not used, you're going to be able to reallocate those licenses. But also, you can save time from IT by having to kind of manage the whole process. So you can almost pay for Nextthing by doing the process yourself and kind of depending on the apps that you want to choose and target. Then improved user experience and engagement. Because of the fact that the users can get licenses more quickly, you're going to improve their experience when they request new licenses because they won't have to wait for you to go through a procurement process and add licenses to the pool. And they will have, engagement will also be improved. They will be accustomed with the process and they will know what you're expecting from them as well. And last but not least, it's an easy to implement and a set it and forget it process, right? Currently, Nextthing has everything you need in order to put this process together. As you've seen, you just need to kind of identify the apps that you want to target, build the dashboards so you're monitoring usage for those apps. So you identify the users that haven't been using the apps lately. Send the campaigns so that you retrieve the data back from the users and then build the automation to uninstall the app and retrieve the license. So there's a bit of work to put into it, but once you put it together, it's there, it's running for you, and you don't have to do anything anymore. So yeah, I hope you found the presentation useful. Thank you very much. And we still have a couple of minutes for questions. Thank you. Thank you.
Guy in the back.
Hi, how are you validating the usage of web apps? Because the majority of our apps now are all web-based. How do you validate whether the user is actually using those things? Or do you just do kind of on-prem desktop apps?
Currently, yes. We are doing only for the on-prem and only for desktop apps. So
yeah, so I think we've been doing a Visio project, some JetBrains products, Adobe products. So it's all kind of fat client applications. But web would be kind of the next one that we want to tackle. With web, though, it's a bit easier to do it because you have the visibility from a web perspective, so you can see who's not actually using the app or who hasn't used their Office 365 E3 license, right? They haven't used email lately, or they haven't used OneDrive. So that's why we wanted to do Fat clients first. Thank you.
Yeah, for the automation, how are you sending the campaigns? Is that automatically?
Yes, we have a full project. It's scheduled. It's targeting users, as mentioned earlier, 4 hours, and it's running daily. That scheduled task, based on the user usage. So.
Thank you, Tom, for doing your steps around, getting those 10K steps.
Great presentation, well done. I was just wondering timelines, how long it would take to make the process operational. There seems like there's a lot in it.
Yeah, I'll let you answer this one because you did the work, Stefan.
So we started the process of gathering the data, I think, on February. It took around 1 month, 2 months to finalize the process. And it got live, I think, on May, June. So overall, around 6 months. Let's say, if you want to do something great, and as Theo mentioned, implement it and forget it. So,
but you have the framework now, so you can do it a bit faster.
no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's a question at the back. Oh, here, yeah, sorry.
Hi, quick question. Was there a particular reason for not using the desktop apps and the applications capability in the software metering in the product that's all built into the product and has dashboards and?
For not using that?
You're not using that, is that?
We are.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
You've built your own dashboards on top of metering ones, or?
We create one dashboard, which includes both application and software metering included. So it's much easier to track everything from the same
You're just using NQL to bring that all together.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
So that was the basis, basically, from where we started.
Right, okay. That didn't quite come out from the presentation. I have to say it looked like you constructed something yourself.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
When we saw that Nextwing came out with metering, that kind of triggered the whole idea, I guess.
Yeah, it's something I'm doing myself. Got 70 plus desktop apps. Being a university, we have everything every industry has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, so I can see this as a really cool way of doing the metering and reclamation and the campaigns to improve the user experience. Just wondering what you guys' replacement for your license compliance and to get ready for audits process. What did you do on that side of things when you moved to Nextlink?
Yeah, I think like the landscape has changed a lot, right? So that's why we wanted to review the way we do software asset management, because when we first put in that process, many of the products were still using perpetual licenses. But there was this shift in the last couple of years to subscription licenses. So we felt we didn't need to have the same process in place because it was a bit redundant. So we wanted to kind of have something automated to kind of look at the licenses that we couldn't kind of manage in some kind of back-end console. And we have separate processes to look at Microsoft licenses because that's where much of our spend goes.
So would it be fair to say you decentralized your entitlement management process to prioritize the metering and reclamation? Okay.
And bring some of that in-house as well, right? Because the process that was managed with the other tool that we had was outsourced. And we just felt like we weren't really getting the value. We were getting some nice reports, but that was kind of it. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Hello, yeah, I've just got a question about, I noticed that you've got a couple of failures on your execution I was kind of just wondering what the common causes are and like how you worked around some of the problems that you had, or when you've run the automation to the remote action.
The failed outputs were mainly because devices were offline at that point when it was triggered.
So just timed out and then
Yeah.
just run again the next 4 hours.
Yeah, exactly. So everything we have is scheduled. So it's running in loop again until it reaches our.
Okay, no worries, thank you.
Thank you.
Any last questions? In which case, thank you so much, Stefan and Theo.
Thank you very much.